Maya Washington stood at the corner of 7th and Main in the industrial district of New Horizon Colony. The artificial lights buzzed overhead, casting long shadows across the dirty concrete. She checked her watch. 10 minutes until the meeting with Frank Miller, the man who controlled drug distribution across 3 sectors of space. After 18 months undercover, she was finally about to get the evidence she needed. The small package in her jacket pocket felt heavy. It contained what appeared to be samples of the new enhanced pharmaceuticals the Orion Syndicate was pushing, but was actually filled with harmless, look-alike substances and tiny tracking devices. If Miller accepted these samples, the DEA would be able to trace the entire distribution network. Maya pulled her jacket tighter against the artificial chill of the colony's night cycle. New Horizon was stationed in the outer reaches of settled space, rotating slowly to create gravity that never felt quite right to Earth-born humans like her. The colony housed nearly 1 million people, most working in the mining and manufacturing sectors that supplied resources to the inner worlds. "Just act natural," she whispered to herself, feeling the slight pressure of her neural implant as it recorded everything she saw and heard. The implant was cutting-edge DEA technology, undetectable by standard security scans, and capable of transmitting encrypted data bursts back to Earth during scheduled communication windows. A group of workers passed by, heading toward the residential sectors after their shift. Maya nodded casually at them. Maintaining cover meant being seen but not remembered. She had spent months building her identity as a small-time dealer who worked the edge of the industrial sector, just notable enough to attract the attention of bigger players like Miller. As the workers disappeared around a corner, Maya noticed a patrol vehicle slowly cruising down the street. Colonial Security. They weren't supposed to be in this sector at this time. She had memorized their patrol schedules months ago. The vehicle slowed as it approached her. Maya kept her face neutral but turned slightly away, pretending to check a message on her comm device. The patrol car stopped. 2 officers stepped out. "Evening, miss," the taller officer said. His name badge read Bennett. The shorter, stockier officer hung back, hand resting near his sidearm. His badge read Carter. "Evening, officers," Maya replied with just the right mix of caution and nonchalance. "Something wrong?" Officer Bennett stepped closer. "Mind telling us what you're doing out here? Industrial sector's closed for the night cycle." "Just waiting for a friend," Maya said. "We're heading to the Red Door once he gets off work." The Red Door was a bar on the edge of the sector, a plausible destination. Bennett's eyes narrowed. "Can I see some ID?" This wasn't good. Maya had proper fake identification, but any deeper check would cause problems. Still, refusing would only escalate the situation. "Sure thing." She reached for her pocket slowly. "Hands where I can see them," Officer Carter suddenly shouted, drawing his weapon. Maya froze. "Whoa, easy. I'm just getting my ID like he asked." "Do it very slowly," Bennett instructed, his hand now also on his weapon. Maya carefully extracted her ID chip and held it out. Bennett took it and inserted it into his scanner. The scanner would show her cover identity: Maya Washington, Earthborn, transport worker, 3 years on New Horizon. Nothing that should raise alarms. Bennett frowned at the scanner. "Says you're from Earth, Chicago District." "That's right," Maya confirmed, keeping her voice steady. "Long way from home," Carter commented. "Chicago, huh? Interesting neighborhood you're from." Maya recognized the tone. She'd encountered it before. The subtle prejudice against Earth-born citizens, especially those from certain districts. New Horizon Colony had been established by corporations and settlers from various Earth nations, but tensions remained between Earth-born and colony-born citizens. "Just trying to make a living like everyone else," she replied neutrally. Bennett handed the ID back but didn't step away. "Mind if we take a look at what's in your pockets? We've had reports of illegal substances moving through this sector. This was bad. If they found the package, her cover and the entire operation would be at risk." Her DEA credentials were deeply buried in encrypted files that would take time to access. Time she didn't have with Miller due to arrive any minute. "Do you have probable cause, officer?" Maya asked. buying time while assessing her options. Bennett's expression hardened. Your presence in a restricted area during off hours is sufficient cause. Now are you going to cooperate, or do we need to bring you in? Maya weighed her choices. Revealing her identity now would destroy 18 months of work and leave the syndicate operational. Getting arrested would compromise her meeting with Miller, but might preserve her cover if handled correctly. I'd like to speak with a lawyer, she said calmly. Carter snorted. Earth folks always want lawyers. He moved forward, pulling restraints from his belt. Turn around, hands behind your back. Maya complied, her mind racing through DEA protocols for compromised operations. Her handler, Director Alan Rogers, wouldn't know she'd been detained until she missed the next scheduled communication burst, at least 8 hours from now. As Carter secured the restraints, Bennett patted down her jacket and immediately found the package. Well, he said, holding it up with a satisfied expression. What do we have here? That's not mine, Maya said automatically, playing the role of every caught dealer in history. Sure it isn't, Bennett replied, placing the package in an evidence bag. Maya Washington, you're under arrest for possession of controlled substances and presence in a restricted area. You have the right to representation under Colonial Code Section 47. As Bennett continued reciting her rights, Maya saw a figure at the far end of the street quickly step back into the shadows. Miller. He'd seen everything. The operation was now officially compromised. Carter led her toward the patrol vehicle, his grip unnecessarily tight on her arm. You Earth people think you can bring your problems to our colony, he muttered. We work hard to keep this place clean. Maya remained silent as they placed her in the back of the vehicle. The neural implant in her brain was still recording everything, evidence of the officer's conduct that might be useful later. For now, she needed to focus on damage control. As the patrol car pulled away, Maya caught a glimpse of Miller watching from an alley. The look on his face was calculating. He was already wondering if her arrest was genuine or part of some larger Earth government operation. The patrol car accelerated toward the Colonial Security headquarters. Through the window, Maya watched the industrial district fade behind them. 18 months of careful work now hung in the balance, all because 2 officers decided to patrol outside their scheduled area and let their biases drive their actions. Inside the secure holding of her own mind, where not even the neural implant could record, Maya began planning her next move. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. The holding cell at New Horizon Colonial Security headquarters was small and cold. Maya sat on the hard metal bench, her back straight against the wall. 3 hours had passed since her arrest. The cell had no windows, just smooth walls and a single door with a small viewing panel. The artificial gravity felt stronger here than in the rest of the colony, an old tactic to make detainees feel heavier and more tired. Officer Bennett entered the room with a tablet in hand. Officer Carter followed behind him, standing by the door with arms crossed. Bennett pulled up a chair and sat across from Maya. So, Bennett said, scrolling through her file on the tablet. Maya Washington, transport worker, no prior record on this colony. He looked up at her. But the scanner found traces of restricted substances on your fingers and clothing. And then there's this. He held up the evidence bag containing the package he had taken from her pocket. Care to explain? Maya remained calm. Like I said before, I want to speak with a lawyer. Bennett sighed. Lawyers take time, especially for off-worlders. You could be sitting in this cell for days waiting. He leaned forward. Help us out. Where did you get this stuff? Who were you meeting? Maya knew this routine. They wanted her to turn on Miller to save herself. If she were actually a small-time dealer, it might be tempting. But as a DEA agent, her priority was maintaining cover while finding a way to contact her handler. I understand the colonial justice system moves quickly, Maya said carefully, but I know my rights. I'm not saying anything without legal representation. Carter pushed off from the wall. You Earth people and your rights. You know, what we see out here? Earth dumps its problems on the colonies, sends its criminals, its troublemakers. He pointed at her. People like you bring drugs to our community where our kids live. Bennett held up a hand to quiet his partner. What my colleague means is that we take these matters very seriously on New Horizon. We work hard to keep our colony safe. His tone softened slightly. If you cooperate, things will go much easier for you. Maya looked between the two officers. Bennett was playing good cop to Carter's bad cop, a tactic as old as law enforcement itself. She needed to give them something to buy time, but nothing that would compromise her mission further. The package isn't mine, she said finally. I was holding it for someone. I don't know what's in it. Bennett didn't look convinced. And who asked you to hold this package? Just a guy I met at the Red Door last week. I don't know his real name. He offered me 50 credits to deliver it. Carter laughed sharply. 50 credits to risk colonial prison? You must be desperate or stupid. Maya shrugged. Food prices are high. Transport work doesn't pay well. Bennett made some notes on his tablet. This guy you met, what did he look like? Maya gave a vague description that matched nobody in the Orion Syndicate. As she spoke, she noticed Bennett checking the time. His shift was probably ending soon. That could work in her favor. A change in officers might give her an opportunity. That's not much to go on, Bennett said when she finished. I think you know more than you're saying. The door to the holding area slid open, and a woman in a crisp uniform entered. From the insignia, Maya recognized her as a senior officer. The woman looked between Bennett, Carter, and Maya with clear displeasure. Officers, she said sharply, a word outside. Bennett and Carter exchanged glances before following the woman out. The door closed behind them, but Maya could hear raised voices. She couldn't make out the words, but the tone suggested the senior officer was not happy. Maya used the moment alone to check her surroundings more carefully. The cell had cameras in two corners, standard colonial security design. The neural implant in her brain would be recording everything, but without access to a secure DEA communication terminal, she had no way to send the data to Earth. The door opened again several minutes later. The woman in the senior officer uniform entered alone. Ms. Washington, I'm Chief Linda Martinez, she said, taking the seat Bennett had used. I understand my officers arrested you in the industrial sector during closed hours. Yes, ma'am, Maya responded, noting the shift to a more respectful tone. I've reviewed the initial report, Martinez continued. The substance in the package appears to be enhanced serum X. Are you familiar with it? Maya knew it well. ESX was the Orion Syndicate's newest product, a dangerous mood enhancer that had caused several deaths in the outer colonies. But Maya Washington, transport worker, wouldn't know these details. No, ma'am. Like I told the officers, I was just holding it for someone else. Martinez studied her face. Ms. Washington, possession of ESX carries a minimum sentence of 5 years in a colonial work facility. Trafficking carries 15. Your situation is very serious. Maya swallowed visibly, playing her role. I understand. Colonial Prosecutor Diane Peterson will be reviewing your case in the morning, Martinez said, standing up. A public defender will be assigned to you before then. I suggest you think carefully about how truthful you've been with my officers. After Martinez left, Maya was allowed to clean up and was given a meal. Standard protein mix and hydration solution that tasted vaguely like chicken. The public defender arrived 2 hours later, a tired-looking woman named Susan Taylor. Ms. Washington, I'm Susan Taylor, she said, sitting across from Maya in the visitation room. I've been assigned to your case. Maya sized up the woman. Mid-50s, overworked, probably handling dozens of cases. Maya needed to give her just enough to work with. Thank you for coming, Maya said. I think there's been a mistake. Taylor opened a file. You were caught with enhanced serum X in a restricted area during closed hours. Colonial law is quite clear on this matter. The package isn't mine. I didn't know what was in it, Maya insisted. That's what everyone says, Taylor replied without looking up. The preliminary hearing is tomorrow morning. Prosecutor Peterson has already filed charges for possession with intent to distribute. Maya leaned forward. Look, I need you to get a message to the Earth Embassy. It's important. This caught Taylor's attention. The Earth Embassy? Why? Just tell them Maya Washington was arrested and needs assistance. They'll know what to do. Taylor looked skeptical. Are you some kind of diplomat? Your file says you're a transport worker. Please, Maya said firmly. Just send the message. It's important. Taylor made a note. I'll try, but communication with Earth takes time, and the embassy doesn't usually intervene in drug cases. After Taylor left, Maya was returned to her cell for the night. Lying on the hard bunk, she stared at the ceiling and calculated her options. If Taylor sent her message and it reached the right people, the DEA might be able to extract her without blowing her cover. If not, she would face a colonial trial where the conviction rate was over 90%. And somewhere out there, Frank.
Miller was deciding whether she was a threat to the Orion Syndicate. Either way, the clock was ticking.
The colonial courthouse was a plain building made of prefabricated materials like most structures on New Horizon. Maya sat at the defense table next to Susan Taylor. The courtroom was small, with seating for about 30 people. Most seats were filled. Maya noticed two men in the back row who didn't look like regular colony citizens. One she recognized immediately as Frank Miller, the other was unknown to her, but his posture and watchful eyes marked him as Syndicate. Judge Harold Cooper entered the room. He was an older man with gray hair and a stern face. Everyone stood until he took his seat at the bench. Colonial Court is now in session, announced the court officer. The people of New Horizon Colony versus Maya Washington, case number 24 CR 7815. Judge Cooper looked down at his screen. Ms. Washington, you are charged with possession of a controlled substance with intent to distribute, specifically enhanced serum X, a Class A prohibited pharmaceutical. How do you plead? Maya stood. Not guilty, Your Honor. Very well, the judge said. Preliminary statements, then we'll proceed with evidence and witnesses. Prosecution first. Colonial Prosecutor Diane Peterson stood. She was a tall woman with short blonde hair and the confident manner of someone who rarely lost cases. Your Honor, the evidence will show that on the evening of colony date 21/84/157, the defendant Maya Washington was apprehended in a restricted area during closed hours. She was found in possession of enhanced serum X, a dangerous substance that has caused numerous health emergencies and several deaths in our colony. Officers will testify that the defendant was clearly waiting to conduct a drug transaction and that her behavior was consistent with known distribution patterns. Peterson paused, looking directly at the small jury box where 6 colony citizens sat. The evidence will further show that the defendant is an Earthborn citizen with no substantial ties to our community, making her a flight risk. We ask the court to consider the safety of our colony and the growing problem of Earth-originated drugs in our community. Maya noticed how Peterson emphasized her Earth origins, playing on the tensions between Earthborn and colony-born citizens. It was a smart tactic in front of a jury of colony natives. Susan Taylor stood next. Your Honor, my client maintains her innocence. Ms. Washington is a hard-working transport employee who has lived in this colony for 3 years with no previous legal troubles. The prosecution has no evidence that she knew what was in the package she was carrying, nor that she intended to distribute anything. We ask the court to consider the lack of direct evidence and the circumstantial nature of the case against my client. Taylor's defense was basic but sound. Maya knew it wouldn't be enough without DEA intervention. She scanned the courtroom again. No sign of anyone from the Earth Embassy or DEA. Taylor had sent the message yesterday, but there was no guarantee it had reached the right people. The prosecution may call its first witness, Judge Cooper said. The people call Officer Greg Bennett, Peterson announced. Bennett walked to the witness stand wearing his formal colonial security uniform. After swearing to tell the truth, he sat down and faced the prosecutor. Officer Bennett, please tell the court about your encounter with the defendant, Peterson said. Bennett sat up straight. Officer Carter and I were patrolling the industrial sector during closed hours as part of a special operation targeting drug activity. We observed the defendant standing alone near the intersection of 7th and Main, a known area for illegal transactions. What did you do next? Peterson asked. We approached the defendant to question her. She claimed to be waiting for a friend, but her body language indicated nervousness. Based on my training and experience, I requested identification and then asked to search her person. During this search, I discovered a package containing what was later confirmed to be enhanced serum X. Peterson nodded. In your professional opinion, was the defendant's behavior consistent with someone engaged in drug distribution? Objection, Taylor said. Calls for speculation. I'll rephrase, Peterson said smoothly. Officer Bennett, based on your training and experience, what conclusions did you draw from the defendant's behavior and location? Bennett didn't hesitate. She was in a restricted area during closed hours in a location known for drug deals, behaving nervously and carrying a substantial amount of enhanced serum X. These factors together strongly suggested she was there to sell or transfer the drugs. Peterson turned to the evidence table. Your Honor, I'd like to enter into evidence Item A, the package of enhanced serum X found on the defendant. The judge nodded, and the court officer brought the package, now sealed in clear plastic, to the jury for examination. No further questions for this witness, Peterson said. Susan Taylor stood for cross-examination. Officer Bennett, you stated you were conducting a special operation in the industrial sector. Was this operation officially sanctioned? Bennett shifted slightly. We had reports of increased drug activity in that area. Officer Carter and I decided to check it out. So you weren't assigned to patrol that area? Taylor pressed. Not specifically, no, Bennett admitted. And did you file the proper paperwork for this special operation? Bennett hesitated. We were planning to file it after our shift. Taylor nodded. Officer Bennett, are you aware that the industrial sector employs many Earthborn citizens like my client? Yes, that's correct. And would you say there's sometimes tension between colony-born security officers and Earthborn workers? Objection, Peterson cut in. Relevance. I'm establishing potential bias, Your Honor, Taylor argued. I'll allow it, Judge Cooper said. The witness will answer. Bennett's jaw tightened. There can be cultural differences, yes, but colonial security treats everyone fairly. Yet you specifically mentioned my client's Earth origins in your report 3 separate times. Was that relevant to the alleged crime? I was being thorough in my documentation, Bennett replied stiffly. From the back of the courtroom, Maya noticed Frank Miller lean over to whisper something to his companion. They were watching the proceedings carefully, likely trying to determine if this was a genuine arrest or part of some larger operation. After Taylor finished with Bennett, Officer Carter took the stand. His testimony largely matched Bennett's, though he seemed less confident under cross-examination. When Taylor asked about his previous comments regarding Earthborn citizens, Carter became defensive. Look, we have a job to do keeping this colony safe, he said, his voice rising slightly. If certain groups cause more problems, we notice that. It's just facts. The judge warned Carter to stick to answering the questions asked. Maya could see that Carter's attitude wasn't playing well with at least 2 jury members, who exchanged glances. As the morning session continued, the prosecution called the lab technician who had tested the package contents. He confirmed it was indeed enhanced serum X, a powerful mood enhancer with dangerous side effects. The amount found would be worth approximately 5,000 colonial credits on the street. Just before the lunch recess, Maya noticed movement at the courtroom door. A man in a formal Earth government uniform entered quietly and took a seat in the back, opposite from where Miller sat. The man caught Maya's eye briefly, giving a small nod that would be imperceptible to anyone not looking for it. Maya felt a surge of relief. DEA had received her message. Director Alan Rogers must have sent someone. Now she just needed to hold out a little longer. Judge Cooper announced the lunch recess, and the court officer led Maya back to the holding area. As she walked past the gallery, she heard Miller say to his companion, "Seems legit, but let's watch the rest before deciding." Maya kept her face neutral. The next few hours would determine not just her fate, but the success or failure of 18 months of undercover work. After the lunch recess, Maya returned to the courtroom with a new sense of hope. The Earth government representative sat closer to the front now. Susan Taylor leaned over to Maya and whispered, "Someone from the Earth Embassy contacted me during the break. Said they have important information about your case. Maya nodded slightly but kept her expression neutral. She could feel Frank Miller watching her from the back of the room. Judge Cooper called the court back to order. The prosecution may call its next witness. Diane Peterson stood. The prosecution rests, Your Honor. This was surprising. Maya had expected Peterson to call more witnesses to strengthen her case. Either the prosecutor was very confident or she had received information that made her cautious. Very well, Judge Cooper said. Defense, you may present your case. Susan Taylor stood. Your Honor, the defense calls Maya Washington to the stand. Maya walked to the witness stand and was sworn in. She needed to be careful here. Tell enough truth to maintain her cover but not reveal her actual mission. Ms. Washington, Taylor began, please tell the court about yourself and how you came to be on New Horizon. Maya spoke clearly. I was born in Chicago on Earth. I worked in logistics there until 3 years ago when I applied for the Colonial Transport Initiative. New Horizon needed workers and Earth was overcrowded. I've been working in the colony's shipping department since arriving. And do you have any history with illegal substances? No, Maya said. I've never been arrested or involved with drugs. Taylor nodded. Now, about the night in question. Why were you in the industrial sector after hours? I was meeting someone about a side job. Transport work doesn't pay well, and living costs are high here. I was told I could make extra money delivering packages. Did you know what was in the package found in your possession? No, Maya said firmly. I was told it was data chips with entertainment programs from Earth. Those are valuable here but not illegal. I would never knowingly carry drugs. Taylor walked closer to the stand. How would you describe your treatment by Officers Bennett and Carter? Maya chose her words carefully. They seemed to make assumptions about me based on my Earth origins. They were aggressive from the start, though I was cooperative. The cross-examination by Peterson was pointed but brief. She tried to trip Maya up on details about who had given her the package, but Maya stuck to her story. As Peterson returned to her seat, the doors at the back of the courtroom swung open. A tall man in a formal DEA uniform entered, followed by 2 more officers. The man walked directly to the front of the courtroom. Your Honor, he said in a commanding voice, I am Special Agent in Charge Kevin Bradley of the Earth Drug Enforcement Administration. I need to address the court on a matter of urgent interplanetary security. Judge Cooper looked surprised. This is highly irregular, Agent Bradley. We are in the middle of a trial. I understand, Your Honor, Bradley replied, handing a data chip to the court officer. Please review this authorization. It comes directly from the Earth Central Government and the Colonial Governance Treaty Office. The court officer gave the chip to Judge Cooper, who inserted it into his console. His eyes widened as he read the screen. After a moment, he looked up. The court will take a 30-minute recess. Counsel for both sides, Agent Bradley and the defendant, will join me in chambers immediately. As they moved to the judge's private chamber, Maya saw Frank Miller and his companion slip out of the courtroom. They now had the confirmation they feared. This was indeed a DEA operation. Inside the chamber, Agent Bradley wasted no time. Your Honor, Maya Washington is not a transport worker. She is DEA Special Agent Maya Washington, operating undercover as part of Operation Starlight, a multi-year investigation into the Orion Syndicate's drug trafficking operations. He handed another data chip to the judge. This contains Agent Washington's credentials, mission parameters, and authorization signed by both Earth Central Government and Colonial Treaty authorities. Judge Cooper reviewed the information, his expression growing more serious. This appears to be in order. He turned to Prosecutor Peterson. Did your office have any knowledge of this operation? Peterson looked stunned. None whatsoever, Your Honor. Colonial Security has no record of DEA operations on New Horizon. That's by design, Bradley explained. This is a deep cover operation targeting high-level members of the Orion Syndicate. Only a handful of people knew Agent Washington's true identity to prevent leaks. The colonial governor was briefed, but operational details were classified. Taylor looked at Maya with surprise and a hint of admiration. So my client is actually a federal agent? Yes, Bradley confirmed, and officers Bennett and Carter nearly destroyed an 18-month operation. With their unauthorized patrol and profiling, Judge Cooper turned to Maya. Agent Washington, I apologize for this situation. How do you wish to proceed? Maya spoke directly now, her undercover persona falling away. 2 members of the Orion Syndicate were in the courtroom today, including Frank Miller, a high-ranking lieutenant. They've now confirmed I'm DEA. Our original operation is compromised, but we have a contingency plan ready. We need the court's cooperation. Of course, Judge Cooper said immediately. The plan is called Protocol Sunlight, Bradley explained. We need to move quickly before the syndicate destroys evidence. We'll need Colonial Security's assistance, but under DEA command. Peterson nodded. I'll contact Chief Martinez immediately. When they returned to the courtroom, it was empty except for court staff. Judge Cooper addressed the court recorder. This court finds that the charges against Maya Washington are dismissed with prejudice. The record of these proceedings is sealed. By order of this court under Colonial Security Code 47B, Interplanetary Cooperation Statute, this court is adjourned. Outside the courthouse, Maya, Bradley, and the other DEA agents moved quickly to a secure vehicle. Maya felt a strange mix of relief and tension. Her cover was blown, but at least she was free and back with her team. Frank, Miller and his associate left as soon as they realized who you were, Bradley told her as they drove toward Colonial Security headquarters. We have teams tracking them now. Chief Martinez has been fully briefed and is preparing her officers. Bennett and Carter? Maya asked. Suspended pending review, Bradley said with a slight smile. Martinez was not happy when she learned they nearly compromised a federal operation because of their biases. At headquarters, they found Chief Martinez already organizing teams. She approached Maya with an apologetic expression. Agent Washington, I want to personally apologize for what happened. My officers acted outside protocol. What's done is done, Maya replied professionally. Now we need to work together. The syndicate moves fast. We have hours at most before they clean house. Martinez nodded. My people are at your disposal. What's the plan? Maya moved to a digital map of the colony. We have identified 7 locations connected to the Orion Syndicate's operations. We need to hit them all simultaneously. Miller will be heading to either their processing lab in Sector 12 or their shipping facility near the spaceport. As she spoke, Officers Bennett and Carter entered the room looking uncomfortable. Chief Martinez had called them in despite their suspension. Officers, Maya acknowledged them coolly. Bennett stepped forward. Agent Washington, I want to apologize. We had no idea. Save it, Maya cut him off. You want to make it right? Help us take down the organization you nearly helped escape. Bennett nodded seriously. Whatever you need. We know this colony better than anyone. That's what I'm counting on, Maya said, turning back to the map. Because we have one chance to make this right, and we move in 1 hour. Night had fallen over New Horizon Colony. 7 teams prepared for simultaneous raids across different sectors. Maya stood in the command center with Agent Bradley, Chief Martinez, and Colonial Security's tactical expert, Jason Williams. A large digital map showed all raid locations marked in red. All teams in position, Williams confirmed, listening to his earpiece. Maya nodded. On my mark. She took a deep breath. Execute. The room filled with chatter as teams reported their entry. Maya focused on the feed from the spaceport. This was where she believed Frank Miller would be, trying to escape with evidence and product. Team 3 in position at the spaceport loading bay, came the report. Team 3, this is Washington, Maya said into her communicator. I'm joining you, hold your position. She turned to Bennett and Carter, who were waiting for assignment. You 2 with me. The officers nodded, eager to redeem themselves. The 3 of them rushed to a transport vehicle and sped toward the spaceport. Why are we bringing them? Bradley asked over the secure channel. They know this colony, Maya replied, and they have something to prove. As they approached the spaceport, Maya briefed Bennett and Carter. Miller is dangerous and smart, he won't give up easily. We believe he's meeting with his superior, Nathan Grant. Grant controls distribution for 3-star systems. This is bigger than just New Horizon. Bennett checked his weapon. We understand the stakes now. The spaceport was quieter than usual, at this hour, with only cargo ships scheduled for arrival and departure. Team 3 had secured the perimeter, blocking all exits except one, the one Maya wanted Miller to use. Cargo Bay 4 shows heat signatures, reported a team member. At least 3 people. Maya studied the spaceport layout on her tablet. Carter, take 2 officers and cover the maintenance exit. Bennett, you're with me and the main team. They moved into position surrounding Cargo Bay 4. Through thermal imaging, they could see 3 figures moving inside, loading crates onto a small ship. All teams ready, Maya said quietly. On my signal. She waited until the figures moved away from the ship, then gave the command. Go. The team burst through, the doors from all sides. DEA and Colonial Security, freeze! Frank Miller and 2 other men turned in surprise. One man immediately raised his hands, but Miller and the other man, who Maya recognized as Nathan Grant from intelligence photos, dove behind crates. Drop your weapons! Maya shouted, taking cover. Shots rang out in response. Maya signaled the team to hold position while she moved along the edge of the bay, trying to flank the men. Bennett followed her. There's a service corridor that runs behind the bay, he whispered. We could cut them off. Maya nodded. Lead the way. They slipped into the corridor, moving quickly but quietly. Through a small window, Maya could see Grant trying to activate the ship's engines while Miller provided covering fire. We need to stop that ship from launching, Maya said. Bennett pointed to a control panel. Emergency lockdown. It will seal the bay doors. Maya accessed the panel with her DEA override code. The bay doors began closing with a loud mechanical groan. Grant looked up in alarm. The ship's not leaving, Maya said into her communicator. Everyone move in. As the team pressed forward, Miller made a desperate break toward an emergency exit. Maya saw him and sprinted down the corridor to intercept him. Miller burst through the exit door just as Maya rounded the corner. They collided, both falling to the ground. Miller recovered first, drawing a weapon. Federal agent, drop the gun, came a shout from down the corridor. Carter stood there, weapon trained on Miller. Miller hesitated, then swung his gun toward Carter. Maya kicked up from her position on the ground, striking Miller's arm. The shot went wild. Before Miller could recover, Carter tackled him, bringing him down hard. Frank Miller, you are under arrest, Maya said, pulling him to his feet as Carter secured his hands. Inside the bay, Bennett and the team had apprehended Grant and the 3rd man. The ship was secured, its cargo hold filled with crates of enhanced Serum X and documentation of the syndicate's entire distribution network. Agent Washington, Bradley called over the communicator. All 7 locations secured. We've arrested 28 syndicate members and seized product worth over 10 million credits. Maya felt a wave of satisfaction. 18 months of work had paid off despite the complications. Back at Colonial Security headquarters 2 hours later, Maya watched as Miller and Grant were processed for transport to an Earth detention facility. Chief Martinez approached, offering a cup of coffee. Quite a day, Martinez said. Your case will change law enforcement procedures across the colony. Maya nodded. It exposed weaknesses in the system. And biases, Martinez added, looking over at Bennett and Carter, who were completing paperwork. They'll be required to undergo additional training before reinstatement. They did good work tonight, Maya said. They have potential if they can learn from this. Agent Bradley joined them, looking pleased. Earth Central is very happy with the outcome. The evidence we seized will help dismantle syndicate operations in 3 other colonies. He turned to Maya. They're offering you a promotion. Supervisor position, Earth headquarters. Maya considered this. I'll think about it. After 18 months undercover, I might need a break first. Of course, Bradley agreed. You've earned it. Bennett approached hesitantly. Agent Washington, do you have a moment? Maya excused herself and walked with Bennett to a quieter corner. I wanted to apologize again, he said. What we did was wrong. We let our assumptions guide our actions instead of proper procedure. And those assumptions nearly cost us an entire operation, Maya said firmly. Not to mention putting my life at risk. Bennett nodded, accepting the criticism. I understand that now. I've requested to be part of the new interagency training program. I want to learn to do better. That's a start, Maya said. Her expression softened slightly. Your knowledge of the colony was valuable tonight. You have good instincts when you don't let bias cloud them. Bennett seemed genuinely grateful for the acknowledgement. Thank you. As dawn broke over New Horizon, Maya stood at the observation deck watching the colony come to life. Citizens began their day, unaware of the night's events that had made their community safer. 2 weeks later, a formal ceremony was held at the Colonial Administration Building. Colonial Governor Sam Lee presented commendations to the joint task force that had taken down the Orion Syndicate operation. This successful operation demonstrates what we can achieve when Earth and colonial authorities work together, Governor Lee announced. It also reminds us that we must be vigilant against biases that can undermine justice. Maya, now wearing her official DEA uniform with its rank insignia clearly visible, accepted the colony's highest civilian honor. As she shook hands with the governor, she noticed Bennett and Carter in the audience, now wearing pins that identified them as part of the new Interagency Cooperation Unit. Later, boarding the transport ship that would take her back to Earth, Maya took one last look at New Horizon. The colony had changed her, just as she had helped change it. The new protocols established between Earth agencies and colonial authorities would prevent similar incidents in the future. As the ship broke orbit, Maya thought about her next assignment. After some well-deserved rest, of course. There were other syndicates, other colonies, other challenges. But for now, she had done what she came to do. Justice had been served against both criminal organizations and the biases that sometimes protected them.